Okay, so you've got the DXS toolbar here, which, as we say, is movable. You can move it to wherever you want. If you click here, it'll take you to DXS. A number of these buttons are replicated here in the toolbar itself. So you've got education, professional guidelines, pathways, medicines, and services. This is a new button here, which will take you straight to professional. Maybe it's a little confusing, but Suffolk CCG is there. These are folders. This is a folder. Clicking this are subfolders. This is all the Suffolk stuff. We're speaking to DXS about making the open subfolders a default view and putting this lot in its own section, because people do get confused about that. But as I say, these little tabs on here reflect what's on the toolbar. But on the toolbar there's more than just education, professional, medicines, services and forms. There's also a direct link to travel. This is Travel Health Pro. If, for example, you have a patient saying, I'm going to Barbados, do I need any vaccinations? You just click on this, travel destinations, Barbados, Caribbean. You can look it up for them, or if you don't feel inclined to look it up for them, you can say, well, I'll email this to you. This is recent information. What's your email address? You don't want to send a copy to your secretary, or you don't want them replying to that, but you can send them the PDF. You hit send, it goes straight away. But there's more than just Travel Health Pro here, so let's see what else is under the educational section. There are leaflets on various sexually transmitted infections, including bacterial vaginosis. There are the British Diabetic Association food fact sheets, whole load of stuff. Sorry, did I say diabetic? I meant Dietetics Association, on all sorts of stuff, educational for you as GP, registrars, etc. Close that. DVLA guidance. That covers various things. Again, educational for oneself. You can also send it to patients. DXS Insight is a very comprehensive section of a whole load of medical conditions. Let's just look at musculoskeletal disorders, sort of things that GPs come across: pectus excavatum, pes cavus, Sherman's disease. Again, really quick to open it up, email it to the patient if you choose to. So there's a whole wealth of stuff. Let me just skip some of the other ones, but apart from to say that it's got Macmillan information, patient decision aids, RCGP leaflets on things like how long would I expect to have viral infections for, and those type of things. And let's look obviously at Patient UK. Huge number of resources in those subfolders, and then the only way of getting familiar with this is to play with it. Let me just show you this Macmillan information, because this is sort of stuff which patients suffer from but don't always have the ability to access readily. So let's look at popular patient information booklets, and this is particularly good because it talks about some sensitive things such as cancer and your sex life for women, and there's one for men. It just takes you to a URL, and they can download a really brilliant information leaflet. So don't underestimate this section here on education. Whereas the medicine section may not be particularly useful, the professional content is extremely useful. There's great stuff in the Suffolk CCG sections, and indeed in the more general national type guidance and things. So if I wanted to look up, for example, a care pathway, just hit that, the word care pathway, and in East Suffolk and West Suffolk we have a number This has brought up east and west. Let me just put in the word east, care pathway, and it brings up our list of pathways. I might say, well, I'm quite interested in DVT care pathway, so because I've looked at it before, it's up here. Just click on that, and very quickly, not only do I have the guidance I need, but access to a referral form which will pre-populate very, very quickly if I wanted it to. And again, I can copy and paste stuff from System 1 straight into the sections I need. But let's look at something slightly different. So if I wanted, for example, a pre-referral guidance, let's do the word pre-referral. It will narrow down all our pre-referral guidance, whether it be for neurology. So let's just click that. Very quickly it brings up the guidance, as well as the R's go to the referral forms. But if I want stuff on from Nice Bites, which isn't in our East Suffolk section or our CCG section, these are all the Nice Bite guidance, and I might want to look up psychosis and schizophrenia in adults. These are really one-page summaries. If I think, oh well, that's useful, I want to add it to my PDP, I just add it, and if I just put, I can put the amount of hours I've spent, I can link it to any puns and dens I've produced. I can put in some reflection, put OK, and then later on, if I wanted to reference it again, just go to the PDP log, and it lists the various things I've done, psychosis in adults, and it's got my reflections down there. These are all exportable, by the way, so it can be very useful for your PDP. I'm just going to close that. The bottom line is there's no time in this meeting to really go into great depth on any of these, but really just to give you a little flavour of what it's capable of, and hopefully convince you that it's worth investing in. We're constantly feeding back to DXS, trying to make the product more usable, and we're also thinking very carefully about our directory structure as well. How do we make it easy for people to be able to find stuff here, and how do we really try and make our directory structure simpler. We really think that there's too much here, and we need to train people on how to search more effectively. Thanks for listening.